Hey guys, it's Karen V from Valori Huntress. So this is going to be my first YouTube video, and what I wanted to talk about today was some of the stages that you need to think about when you first find out that you have an out-of-state hunt. Now, I've been on a few of them myself. I mainly do local, but I do quite a bit of out-of-state with my dad and my little brother, and we actually have a major upcoming hunt in the next year of 2020. Hopefully the pandemic doesn't ruin it all. We're still going though, probably. But it occurred to me because some of my friends asked me, well, what do you do? How do you prepare for these kinds of things? And I realized that a lot of people really don't know what steps you have to take to be able to get started for figuring out everything that has to go into having everything ready for your big game hunt. So some of the things I wanted to do was talk about some of my first few steps that I start figuring out the second I find out I pulled that tag. So I actually got a moose tag in Idaho, one of the once in a lifetimes, Unit 70. That's him right back there. About 3 years ago now, and that was our last big game hunt as a family, like our once in a lifetime. Like me and my dad went, and it was just us. My little brother couldn't go, or any of our hunting friends, so it was just me and my dad. It was a good experience. I loved it. I wish I was back at that moment again, but now it's somebody else in my family's turn for their big game hunt. So some things that I'm starting to figure out now that we know what state it is, what animal we drew, or they drew technically. I'm just a pack mule. Some of the things that I started figuring out was things like the weather. Okay, for November, it's going to be pretty cold. It's probably going to be snowing. I would not be surprised. And the altitude, those are the first things you need to figure out. Next up, what I would do is I'd also go and call some of your local game wardens for that area. How many people usually get an animal on these hunts? How many of them actually come home successful? What's the average size of these animals? Are they typical sizes where, like, say for that moose, that was a bigger moose for the year that I got mine. When we went in and asked them and we called them about my moose and stuff, we were like, hey, like, people that pull out mooses out of this area, how big are they? But things you need to realize is when I first started, my very first out of local hunts also was for mule deer down where my dad's actually from, down south of California. I'm a Northern California girl. And the first year that I started, I was like, I want that one, Dad. I think that's going to be a big guy. Well, then I realized I've actually seen bigger growing up, coming and visiting my grandparents here, and I realized the one that I wanted to shoot was actually pretty small for the typicals. So you really want to know what you're getting yourself into so you don't just shoot the first thing you see. Now, there's also other things that, like, if you're new to this, you need to understand where to shoot correctly, and I really want to help other females with hunting and learning about it so they can better prepare themselves to go out there and hunt for their own families. I have a lot of friends that are like, with everything going on, I want to learn how to provide for my family, for my kids, and I want to be able to hunt on my own. Like, I don't have a husband that wants to, or maybe you do have a husband that does, but you want to be a part of it. And I want to be there for women that want to, because I never had that growing up. I just had my dad, and I got made fun of in high school, elementary school. It was hard, and even through college too, it was really hard to be a big game female hunter in my community. And so it was hard for me not having somebody to look up to. So I want to be that for other women that want to watch my channel. Your gear list. If you know the weather, you're going to know what you need to bring. So I have a lot of my stuff here. This is mostly all mine. I have more in the closet back here, but I have things kind of separated out between like my bow stuff, my calls, A lot of my clothes, I actually am recycling a lot of my old clothes that don't fit me anymore and going to invest in better women's clothes. Because when I was growing up, I had to wear all the men's clothes and little boys' clothes because they didn't have female clothing when I was growing up. So I'm finally cycling through all that stuff, all my old hand-me-downs, and I'm finally investing in my own gear that is made for females. So with the gear list, I kind of have just a really quick list that I will go through just for any hunt, local, out of state, doesn't matter. I usually go through this list and I usually add bits and pieces. And so with knowing where we're going, like say if this was my Idaho hunt was early November, if I remember correctly. So I knew it wasn't going to be too cold, but it's still going to be cold. But I knew it wasn't going to be like, I need a parka and my snow boots. Like, I knew I didn't need that much, but I still knew I needed layers. And then I knew that it was just going to be me and my dad. So all I had to do was grab one of our canvas tents, not too big, not too small. Could have a little stove in it, doesn't have to. We use Montana canvas. I love them. For me, I haven't done any straight up backpacking, and I admire everybody that wants to, and I'm trying to get myself into that. I need to lose a little bit of weight since my wedding, but I want to be one of those girls that can go out and backpack and get an elk, follow them, like wake up, follow the herd. I can't catch up to them. We hike or we set camp for that night, and then we keep on going from there. Who is coming? So some of our hunting partners were not able to come with me for my moose hunt, and my now husband wasn't able to get off the time of work. What I did was, it was just me and my dad. And with this next hunt, our upcoming hunt, it's going to be me, it's going to be my husband, it's going to be my father, and it's going to be a hunting partner, and I'm not quite sure who else yet. It's food. And why I'm saying food, it's like, that's down the road. Why don't you think about food? Well, with everything going on right now, it's really important to think about food because all the MREs, like Mountain Houses, this one, the classic meat spaghetti sauce, is my favorite, hands down. Well, the second best is always going to be beef stroganoff, which I actually don't have that one on me right now because I actually ran out. But these are getting really expensive and they're getting sold out everywhere because of the pandemic right now. So it's really important. I'm stocking up right now for the hunt that's in November, because I want to be prepared to have stuff. Now, later on in my channel, I'm also going to start going through I'm going to test some things out and try and make meals at home and vacuum seal them and freeze them and see how that goes. Take them on camping trips, see how I like it, and figure it out from there. The other reason why I want you guys to think about food is for your hunts is, are you backpacking in and out or not? If you have a base camp, yeah, you can fill up on a whole bunch of these and bring in ice chests. But if you're not, you need to really cut down on your weight. This is the best thing to do. But it's still going to be hard, with the extra room. Now, other things that you need to think about is new supplies that you need to get. I have a lot of hand-me-downs. Like I said earlier, for clothes, I also have a lot of hand-me-down gear. Because I have a lot of different hobbies, but my main one has always been hunting. But I've never spent the money because my dad has, and he's just given me his hand-me-downs. Whereas now I'm trying to build my own supplies list. And I want to invest my own money in certain things. So I know I'm going to be getting some new spotting scope, hopefully. I need one. Mine's getting a little old. So just new supplies that you just need to think about and everything. But there's a lot of other things that still go into figuring out, like the working out, and there's so much to it, and actually looking at the maps and generals. But the thing is, there's a lot of time still left, and I want to make videos for this. And if you want to see more videos of talking about my hunts, or maybe doing a taste test of these for you guys, or just, I want to also start a channel where I can help teach females what to do for hunting. What's the do's, what's the don'ts as a female, not just as a man teaching a woman how to do it, but as like how my dad taught me, but I want to do it for like, okay, well, my dad taught me this. I didn't like X, Y, and Z because of A, B, and C. Because it didn't work best for me because I'm a female. It's easier hearing it from another female who's already been through it, who's already done it, who's already lived her whole life through it. So that's why I want to do this. Now, please hit the like and subscribe down below. And make sure you turn on the bell notification. I'm going to hopefully be posting once a week.